So, welcome back. We are going to do our helpful hint number 10. I believe it's 10. And it is going to be about snapshots and common assessments. Okay, look. So, I know people are freaking out because at this point we're supposed to have common assessments within Eduphoria. These assessments that our teams are doing. Okay, so and we're supposed to create the snapshot. So that's what we're going to work on today. Easy peasy. It's nothing difficult. It's actually a good resource that we're using, Eduphoria. So we're going to work on that. Now, first, let's talk about why. Because we're going into our second semester, and the campus has been rolling things out the entire year, and the district has kind of been rolling things out as the years progress, and now they're expecting to see them throughout all the classes. So the campus expectations is every week your teams will have three common points of data, and these data points would be this data would be uploaded into Eduphoria. That is our data resource this year. We are not using All in Learn. We're using Eduphoria. So for every week, you need to have one of the three. I mean, each of the three. You need to have one do now in Eduphoria. You need to have one exit ticket in Eduphoria and one weekly assessment in Eduphoria. So as a team, if I'm the world part of the World Geo team, I need to have everybody in that team is going to have one do now that everyone did, and that data is going to be in Eduphoria per week. One exit ticket that all the students took in Eduphoria, and then one weekly assessment that is done in Eduphoria that all the students took. So everyone's going to have a common point of data, okay? The district is only enacting one thing. They're saying that they also need a snapshot. But the great thing about it is we're going to have it where one of your weekly assessments, every other week, your weekly assessment is actually going to be the snapshot done. So you're doing the same task, but you're satisfying two different people. We're working smarter, not harder. No, don't come and create a new one. Just use that. So it serves two purposes. So every other week, it would be considered a snapshot. Now let's talk about these. Your do nows typically are supposed to be conducted within 5 minutes. If you're doing 15, 20 minutes, I'm sorry, that time is that's not what a do now is supposed to be for. Do now is get out, and it's training the students to time themselves to perform things in a quick to kind of activate that brain quickly to get in, get out, get it done. It should be independent of you. If they're asking for assistance from you, either they're expecting you to enable them, or maybe the assignment is a little bit too challenging for the purpose of a do now. If it's taking longer than 5 minutes, it could be the activity is not really an activity for a do now, it's more of an activity for a lesson or something asynchronous, but it's not something that can be done within the time frame. Normally, to satisfy that 5 minutes, you have about one or two questions. Some people can kind of get in more questions depending on the level of understanding, the depth of knowledge that's required, but no more than five questions. If you're doing more than five questions, they're going to need more than 5 minutes. So you want to make sure that you're within that time frame. Okay. The exit ticket can vary, but typically I wouldn't say more than five questions either for that. But people have various different ways that they do their exit tickets. Weekly assessments, because our one of our weekly assessments every other week is going to be considered a snapshot. We can just use the snapshot requirements. So based on a district, the district says a snapshot should be no more than 12 questions. 10 to 12 questions maximum. And it should be over your current teaks, but about 3 to 4 of them should be whatever you're spiraling back in. Remember, you're basing your spiraling off of the any assessments that you've actually taken, any kind of formative assessments that you've taken. You notice the children are not being successful here. They may need a little bit more reinforcement, or you just have to reteach it. Okay, so let's break this down. I'm gonna break this down this video in three different chunks. What do you need ahead before you start making the assessment? How do you create the assessment? And once it's created, how do you activate it? So we're going to try to work through that way, okay? So let's go to ClassLink. ClassLink is the hub where everything is happening. You have to go here to get to all your applications. So I go to class link and choose Eduphoria. Once I log into Eduphoria, remember these are assessments. So when I deal with assessments, I have to be aware. Eduphoria is a program that's fairly intuitive. I really like it because it's not, you don't have to go a whole bunch of places. It's kind of, it guides you in a sense. If I'm creating an assessment, if I look over here on the left side, it says assessments. I'm just going to choose that. And what am I doing with assessment? I look down here, it says create. So it gives you a few options for creation. For our purposes today, we just pretend like we're starting from scratch, create a new blank test. So I click that. Now the question becomes, am I using a rubric or am I actually creating an assessment? I'm creating an assessment, so I click this. I mean, there are some programs that is this not this intuitive, okay? So the district hasn't identified the nomenclature for how you're going to name this particular snapshot. So I'm going to say 20. So I'll give it a title, 2021 snapshot number 1. And then I'm for my content, which is, I'm going to do biology. And then that should be enough, I guess. My subject, I have to choose a subject, science. I choose my grade level, 9th. Now, down here, it asks you for, we want approaches, meets, and masters. We don't care about satisfactory, we don't care about advanced. We're not even going to indicate that. Approaches need to be based. I always go to lead for it and I pull a document. The name of the document is the raw score conversion table. You may be able to just type that in the search engine, raw score conversion table, and may actually send you directly to the Eduphoria. But I'm going here and I'm going to use this data because on here it tells me for every grade, every STAR test, it tells me what the actual approaches grade level needs to be, meets needs to be, and master. So for biology, I'm going to go over to my thing, go to biology. In order for students to get approaches, they have to get a 38%. Ugh, I know, it's so low. Meets is 60, and then masters is 82. That's statistically sound because 82 is means that you a master something. So I know it looks like it has a 0 here, but it doesn't matter. It's going to come in right. I don't care about satisfactory and I don't care about advanced. I'm going to go back up here to the top and I'm going to indicate what kind of test. You only have that option just like I have. It's just a teacher test. Okay. And then I need to add a course. So I go to high school. I'm going to science, biology. I just default to that because I can remember that stuff right off from my bat. Sorry, y'all. Okay, and generate test. Done. Now, it's a test there, but look at the status, it's pending. At the end of this, once I add my questions, I'm going to change that to active, or I can kind of get rid of it and archive it. I want the alternating lettering, show test summary. Sure, all of that. I'm not going to go over here into complexity. I don't care about that yet. But what I want to do is I want to click on the plus sign. It gives me 2 options. Either I'm going to start from scratch and add an item. I got a good test that I want to use over and over again, whatever. I can just input my test question. Or I can be like me and I can search the item bank. Now, for any EOC tested area, you're probably going to have a good amount of questions from a test bank available to you. If you are content that is new or just how certain content, they don't really ever have any resources for you. You may not find any questions in here. It all depends, okay? Just check and see what they have. So right here, it says biology. I'm going to filter. I have no idea what biology is covering right now, so I'm going to say 4A. So I put my ticks here, and it pulls on my ticks right here, comparing the transfer periodic, and they have done that already, but whatever. And I'm going to click it, and it's going to give me a list of all the test questions that they have in their bank dealing with that. And if you notice, it tells me, okay, it's 4A. It tells me the depth of knowledge here. So once I click it, it's going to give me a bank of telling me like how many of those I have. And it has the questions here and it has the choices here. Okay. So, and I can, if I wanted to, I can add another question in here, but I'm not going to do that. So I can just go through and kind of preview and see what these questions look like. So I'm going to, oh, I'm going to add this question. Actually, you know what? If I'm previewing it, if it's not showing me everything, I kind of go to where it's hazy and it'll show me the whole thing. It gives me the answer. So I'm going to add a series of these questions here. Don't do what I'm doing. You need to go through and read them because sometimes the test banks are not as user friendly or student friendly as you think they are. So and sometimes there's errors in it. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. Let's just say I need to spiral a teaks in also, so I can go all the way back down. This is the way I do it. I'm gonna search 5, 8. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have 5. Okay, I'm gonna X that out of that. Go back here. I'm gonna go to 5A, and so it has that, and it's gonna give me some questions. And I'm going to choose, so this is my spiral text. I need to have no more than 4 or 5, whatever. So, okay, that's enough of that. So I have a number of test questions here. It gives me question card. I can kind of look at what I have and I can rearrange them if I wanted to, move them up, move them down. But this is not to me a good way of viewing this. So what I would do is X out of that. And now I want to go and look at the layout. So the layout allows me to change a few things. It allows me to change it to secondary. This is how the formatting it says for, oh, you know what? Let me go back. Go back to my questions. I did not add them in. I'm so sorry. Let me go back and add them in. What did I have? 4A. Add the question. Add the question. Add the question. Okay. So I have to go in and add them to the test. That's what I do. I'm sorry. Add to the test. So now I have some questions. I didn't have questions at first. That's why I couldn't see it. So now when I go to layout, I can see how it looks. So I have only 3 questions. I need to have more than I have. Remember 10 to 12. But I need to have 3 questions. I can kind of alter the arrangement. I'm gonna go to secondary. I can do a whole bunch of different things. So the layout, I can move things around if I want to. Now I'm gonna go to test key also. So here it tells me if I just needed a quick test key, I can get this here. It tells me if the weights, and if I want to alter anything, I can always go to the edit button, and then I can make some alterations. But I have to save it once I make the alterations. And then there's some other things with dealing with linking resources, but we're not going into that because this is already 13 minutes long. My next thing is going to online. Now, I have to make sure it defaults to this, but always go into check that is defaulted to the interactive because we're not using bubble sheets. We're not in front of people. If you need the calculator to be enabled, you can enable the calculator. If you need them to view submitted responses, I always want them to review their responses because I'm that student who I want to see what I chose and make sure I go back and double check. Enable question randomization. If you want those teachers who feel as though you need to randomize even though they're not in front of you, you can do that. Lockdown browser. You can do that. I'm not sure how well that works, but typically I think if they go out of it, it logs them completely out. I'm not sure exactly how it works, so I never use that. Text to speech. Students choose the language spoken. That one I think you can put English only, Spanish only. You make specifications. There's a lot of things that you can to do in Eduphoria. It really is kind of crafty. And then if you want to preview how it looks, you can go preview online testing. Now, last thing, administration. If you wanted to share this with your team, this is where you do that. If you already created a team, which was my last video, you can click on here, share with team, and you can identify the team that you want to share it with. Okay. If you want to just share a copy of it to certain individuals, you can just share it that way and then just specify who you're trying to copy it to. And the last thing you need to do to make sure that the students that you can give it to the students is you have to go in, change the status from pending to active. Okay. Once that's done, You should have an active test. Make sure I go over here and I make sure. Yeah, so it's active. And then I can go into analyze. Now here's where I'm gonna have to tell you, I don't have any students assigned to me because so it's not gonna show you exactly what you're gonna see. But once I have finished it and I changed it from pending to active, I go into test, go back to analyze, go into test available. This is where you normally get those common assessments and stuff from the district. And right here, you don't see it on my screen because I don't have any students attached to me. You will see the test here. Okay, so here is the guide that comes with that the district sent to us. Ms. Ross sent this out. So once you go to test available, at the top, you're going to see test available here, and you're going to have your various tests identified. I hope you guys can see this. This may not be a very good way of doing this, but you're going to see, you're going to click on the actual test. You're going to click on this little proctoring window over here. It's going to be on the right side of that ribbon. It's going to have like a little monitor, a little screen. You click that, it's going to be a check mark. Once you check that, the proctoring has been enabled. And then you have to go in and click on the actual name of the test because there'll be a live link then. It'll open it up, and then you have to go in manually to select all for each one of your courses. Now, there is a separate, hopefully a video on that, but also if by chance you did not understand what I'm saying, that those steps, I can always send you the this handout because the handout has really helped other people to clarify this. It's really succinct. Remember that that in order for the students to see this particular assessment, you have to go in, activate the proctoring, and you have to then assign it to those students. Okay? So what we did was we gathered information, figured out which TEKS we were going to utilize for our assessment. We went into Eduphoria. We chose aware, then assessments, created a new blank test. You can choose to use a search item bank, or you can choose to add those items on your own. We didn't do that in this video, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Just reach out to me if you have any issues. And then at the end, once you've added all those assessments, questions, you need to make sure you change the status from pending to active. In order to get this, for the students to get it, activate the proctoring and select all the students to assign. Whew, it's a lot. Hopefully they help. Reach out to me and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.